To go down in history as a reformer, it's not necessary to change the whole world. Sometimes it is enough to make the life around you better. This is exactly the story that happened to Майер, who created the first school in the United States for black children, at a time when they could be beaten to death right on the street for this.
She embodied her dream by organizing the first school in Washington, D.C. to provide the primary level of education to African American girls in 1851. Within 2 months, the enrollment grew from 6 to 40. The school offered elementary education and a housekeeping class, but the main aim was the teacher training. The curriculum includes history, philosophy, geography, literature, and astronomy.
Майер was born in Brookfield in 1815 in a poor family. Deeply religious parents could not give a good education. That's why the children had to learn on their own. Myrtilla was often ill and skipped school, and therefore constantly read. In addition to reading, she loved to study and get along quickly with children. At last, she made the decide to become a teacher. She entered a seminary for young ladies. Her professional career began in Rochester, New York. For the next 17 years, Myrtilla taught in the northern states, and in 1847 went to work at the Newton Women's Institute in Whitesville, Mississippi.
Despite of hostility from the part of the community, the school flourished, but during the first few years it was forced to move several times. This was done at a time when slavery was still legal in the United States. Майер and her students were often attacked with stones and other objects. To help protect the school, Myrtilla Майер learned how to shoot a revolver. Once, when she was threatened with mob violence, she screamed,
"There is no law that will prevent me from teaching these pupils, and I will teach them even to death."
On the 3rd of March 1843, the United States Senate approved the school as the institution for the education of colored youth. Having become one of the directors of this educational institution, Myrtilla spent all her enthusiasm searching for new energy and additional funds to implement her plans.
The fire of enthusiasm sparkled in her eyes, and the spirit of true long lines burned in her soul.
Mention Frederick Douglass, the American writer, educator, of the most famous fighter for the right of the black population of America. Unfortunately, not all of them managed to be fulfilled. The tragic death on the 17th of December, 1864, interrupts the life of Myrtilla Майер.
Майer's progressive methods in education, her noble character, her high ideals, her struggle with significant opposition, and her lasting contribution of an organized institution for the training of teachers in the spirit of the master, occupies her place in the world's pedagogics.
In 1955, the elementary school, named in her honor, merged with Wilson Teachers College, and later, in 1976, grew into the only public university of the District of Columbia. Thousands of young people were inspired by the high standards instilled by the indomitable Myrtilla Майер and the African American educators who followed in her footsteps.